What is good, y'all? Welcome back to Appreciate Greatness. Today, I'm going to be breaking down the college basketball top 25 rankings. I've watched a lot of college basketball this year, and I wanted to talk about it in some way, shape, or form. I couldn't, I didn't know how, but I think I'm just going to go through the rankings and talk about them. So, the title of this video is College Basketball Rankings Breakdown. It is currently 3:21 on Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to everyone. I'll be posting this Christmas Eve. Y'all have great Christmases. I hope y'all, I hope Santa brings you some great presents. But again, there's going to be an article to this video. I'll post it in the link down below in the description. And let's get right into it. Again, 3:21. If I stumble across words or, stuff like that, just ignore it. But we're starting off with number 1 ranked Tennessee. They're led in scoring by Chaz Lanier, and he's averaging 17 a game. But to me, he's not the key to this Tennessee team. It's Zakai Ziegler, their starting point guard. I think he's averaging like 11 and 7, but he, on the defensive end, gets steals, and he's a really great playmaker. I think he's kind of their on-court leader, that on-court coach for Rick Barnes and the Vols. And, they haven't been super... I'm going to use the term battle tested a lot, and I don't think they've been super battle tested other than that Illinois game. I'm trying to think of who else they've played, but I think they're a good team. I don't think they're the best team in the country. Number 2, Auburn is who I think is the best team in the country. I've watched them more than anyone in the country as well. They are led by Johni Broome, the National Player of the Year candidate, who should probably win it. He's just been dominant, and Chad Baker-Mazara has been their best perimeter defender, but he's also taken an offensive leap. He's kind of their leader. He's their most animated guy in the court, which kind of turns into your leader at times. And I mean, my personal favorite isn't even one of those two, but it's Tahad Pettiford, who has had some insane games this year. He's a flamethrower, especially when he's hot. He's so fun to watch when he's hot and on fire. I also do want to preface that most of this is just eye test, completely eye test. I didn't do too much research, especially the teams I know. So the top 5 for sure. Florida I kind of had to look at, but I'll tell you when I don't watch them too much and when I have. But Iowa State. They've been led in scoring by 2 guys this year. Keyshawn Gilbert, who is kind of their star. I think he's averaging 16 and 5. And then you have Curtis Jones, who's coming off the bench, 6th man of the year, and he's averaging 16 as well. He just comes in and fills it up. And Tamim Lipsey, that's their star lead guard, especially defensively. He racks up steals. He's such a great defender. And then they've had Milan Momcilovic. He's taken a big efficiency leap. He hasn't necessarily upped his scoring, but his efficiency has been much, much better to start the season. And they've turned into one of those teams where any given night someone can beat you. Tamim Lipsey can have a big game. Curtis Jones can come off the bench and have a big game. Keyshawn Gilbert is going to have a big game most likely. But then Milan Momcilovic has the chance to do that too. So they're a really fun team so far this year. A great defensive team. A lot like those Houston. It's a Houston E, how they play defense. Number 4, the Duke Blue Devils. This is a team led by their freshmen. Cooper Flagg, Con Knipple, Kaman Malawach. They've been incredible this year. Cooper Flagg's kind of their main scorer, their go-to guy. I think he's leading the team in points, rebounds, assists, and blocks. Not quite steals. I think he's pretty close. Conkin Nipple has been their secondary playmaker behind Tyrese Proctor, who's been absolutely massive. Anytime they've needed a play to be made, he's made it. And they're insanely deep. It's just a lot of youth and a lot of inexperience, which really worries me. And we've seen it this year already, closing out games. They've struggled to do so at times. Number 5, Alabama. They have so much talent. Led at the top, Mark Sears and Grant Nelson. Those are your 2 guys, the seniors. And they've put a really good roster around these guys. Clifford Omarui, who transferred in from Rutgers. He's been awesome. I wish he had stayed at Rutgers. That Rutgers team with Clifford Omarui, they'd be next level right now. LeBaron Philon has came in. He's been a great secondary playmaker. He's been a great defender. And then you have Aiden Holloway, Latrell Wright-Shell, Muhammad Diabate, Jaron Stevenson. They've all played really good roles for the Crimson Tide, and they've been fun to watch. Florida, not a team I've watched a lot, but led by Walter Clayton Jr., I don't think they've been battle tested at all. Probably the least in the top 25, if I'm being honest. They played the UNC team who's been struggling. I think they're good. I don't think they're number 6 ranked. I don't think they're quite near number 6 ranked. I think they're going to be battling for a top 25 spot toward the end of the season. The Kansas Jayhawks. They're one of the oldest teams in the country. You have Zeke Mayo, Hunter Dickinson, Dwan Harris, all seniors. And they're legit, I think KJ Adams too, senior. A legit title contender this year. But my worry always comes with Hunter Dickinson. I don't know if he can be your lead guy, your defensive anchor, your center for a championship team. I don't know. Now I will say, and also he's their go-to guy offensively, and that worries me. Now they do have Zeke Mayo this season, which might save them at some point, but I'm going to have to see it to believe it for them to actually really be a legit title contender or title favorite in my eyes. Next we have Marquette. They've been so fun to watch. Cam Jones taking a scoring leap as well as taking a playmaking leap. They're just a bad rebounding team, and that's really my worry. Ben Golden is 6'11", and he's only averaging 3 rounds per game, so it's something that they can probably improve on because they have the size to do so, but they've just been bad rebounding wise, which is so odd. The next team we have is Oregon, who I haven't watched a ton of. I've watched a little bit, but not a ton, and I went digging because I was like, I don't know what's going on. They have Jackson Shelstad, his name's so hard to pronounce, and TJ Bamba. Both have been not good. I think they're both shooting like 35% from the field, and they're the number 9 ranked team in the country right now. I mean, it's a matter of time until those two guards get it going and they become scary. I think this Oregon Ducks team is kind of a sleeping giant. They could be really, really good and make another run, even though they don't have Cuisinart this year. They could be really good. Kentucky. This has been probably, I don't want to say my favorite team. It hasn't been my favorite team, but it's been one of my favorite teams this season to watch. Just a really fun team, good on the defensive end. 3 guys who last year in Lamont Butler, Jackson Robinson, and Otega Owe, that's the 3rd guy. They were the best scorers on their team last year, and now they're at Kentucky, and you have Kobe Brea right there beside him, who's the best 3-point shooter in the country. Could not defend a cup of water, but who cares when you shoot 50% from 3, you know? And then they have the 2 big men, Mari Williams and Brandon Garrison. Shout out the Oklahoman, Brandon Garrison, as well as Jackson Robinson, Oklahoman as well. Both those teams been outstanding this season. Or both those teams. I'm looking at the next team, but both those guys been outstanding this season. Good Lord, man. Again, it's 3:29 now. It's late for me, so hang with me. The UConn Huskies are the number 11th ranked team, and they got off to a slow start. I wrote an article about that if y'all want to check it out. Again, I'm leaving the link to this article in the description. I can't post like the actual link where you can click and go to it, but just copy it, paste it into your search bar, and it'll pop up. But UConn, they've really started to pick it up thanks to the defensive end. Alex Karabin has been outstanding. He's a great winner, like the Xavier coach said. Just a phenomenal turnaround for them. And we even saw the clip the other day of Dan Hurley hugging the official. So they're getting it turned around, and that's big for them going into Big East play. Number 12 ranked Oklahoma. They've been so fun to watch, mostly because of Jeremiah Fears. There's no doubt in my mind. That's why I love watching him. He's been unbelievable as a scorer, as a playmaker. He doesn't make too many boneheaded decisions. He turns the ball over a little more than you'd like, but I mean, other than that, they have this 3-guard lineup in Jeremiah Fears, Duke Miles, and Kobe Elvis that is so fun. And so they can just kind of, take care of that ball. They set so many screen and rolls, and they come off of them, and they have 3-point guards on the floor that come off the pick and roll, and they can beat you like that, just running pick and rolls all game. It's so fun to watch. Texas A&M, I'm going to read this one almost verbatim. They have one of the weirdest playing styles in the NCAA. They aren't a big team, but they're one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country, which is insane. And what this allows them to do is take bad shots, really weird, bad, dumb shots. Wade Taylor's really good at taking bad shots, and he makes a lot of them, but he misses a lot of them as well. And they fly in for offensive rebounds, and it allows those bad shots. They can be long rebounds, they can be, weird bounces, whatever. Texas A&M competes for them and wins them a lot, and so that leads them to winning games. Now, is it sustainable for Buzz Williams in his squad? I don't know, but it's worked so far, so that's been fun. Gonzaga, they had a gauntlet to start the season, and they've navigated it pretty well. They're another team. Any given night, someone different can beat you. But the head of the snake is Ryan Nembhard. He's averaging a double-double, which in college, double-double with assists is insane. 2 steals a game, 10 assists per game in college is outrageous. I don't think that's really been thrown out there enough. Like, ESPN needs to cover Ryan Nembhard and how good of a season he's had. He's been unbelievable. Number 15, Houston. And they still are given that defensive effort, that defensive pressure that you expect from a Houston Cougars team, but they don't really have the go-to scorer. I think LJ Cryer really fits better as a guy who's running off screens, catching, shooting, stationary or moving, shooting threes. Not necessarily as a guy who's going to pound, beat you off the dribble, the way they had in Jamal Shed and in Marcus Sasser, who they could give the ball to and he could get downhill or step back, make a shot, or come off a screen, pull up mid-range. Like, they don't have that go-to guy, and that's something that, I think could lead to a bumpy Big 12 conference play for them. But we'll see. I think that defense, that can carry you a long way. So, Ole Miss, they're another team. They're not super battle-tested. They played the BYU game. It was close. It was fun. It was back and forth. They played, who'd they beat? Purdue? I think they beat Purdue, or maybe they lost to Purdue. I don't remember. But Sean Padula, another Oklahoma guy. Jalen Murray, they've been outstanding guard duo this year. But I think they're going to be challenging the SEC, and I think they might struggle. That's what I'm going to say. 17, Cincinnati. Ole Miss also, not a team I've watched a lot of. I watched that BYU game, and I think I caught the end of the Purdue game. I don't remember who won, though. That's how locked in I was on it. 17, the Cincinnati Bearcats. They're another team not too battle-tested, but they did beat Dayton not too long ago. They're a defensive. They hang their hat on the defense, and they have some sick names. They have Jizzle James. What's the other one? Jizzle James. Is it Day Evans or something? Day something. I mean, such cool names out there. But Cincinnati, solid team. I don't know if I expect them to hang in the top 25. They'll probably lose a couple games in the American, and it'll be questioned and they'll fall out. But they're going to make the tournament. They're going to probably make a run in the conference tournament. So I like them, but they're not too high on my list. Also not too high on a list of teams I want to watch for conference play. Michigan State, this team is so weird, dude. They're so weird. They're led by Jaden Atkins, right? Yes, Jaden Atkins. He's the only guy who's scoring double digits. I think he's averaging 13 too. It's not like he's averaging 20. It's so weird. I think they have like 8 guys averaging 9 points. My favorite player on their team is Jason Richardson's son. He's been so cool. He's shooting like 61% right now. It's mind-boggling. Looking at their like stats, mind-boggling. Watching them play, they're the epitome of any given night someone can beat you. They're fun to watch, man. Number 19, Mississippi State. Another team I haven't watched too much. They've beaten 2 ranked teams by double digits this year, which is cool. Josh Hubbard's been good. I've watched him a little bit. So, a team I need to pay more attention to for sure. But I'm going to watch them more during conference play for sure. San Diego State. This team, if you want to watch defense and you want to watch intensity on the defensive end, watch San Diego State. I mean, they suffocate their opponents defensively. I think Gonzaga scored 80 on them, Oregon scored 78 on them, and that's the only two the games that really stood out from a scoring standpoint of them getting scored on. It's their only two losses as well. I think the key to their season is just going to be them figuring out a way to outscore people. Like, that's going to be the key. Defensively, if the game was only defense, San Diego State would be your champions this year. But it's not. You got to score, and they struggle to do that at times. They struggled against Gonzaga to do it. They struggled against Oregon to do it. That's their only two losses. Their defense played fine. They just couldn't score in those games. So if they can figure out a way to score, I'm all in on San Diego State. Number 21, the Purdue Boilermakers. They have the same kind of offensive approach as last year. Not to the fullest extent of last year because you had Zach Edey, but I mean, Trey Kaufman-Renn has been unbelievable. He's been outstanding. And then they're just kind of having Braden Smith. He's the lead guard, point guard guy, but him and Fletcher Loyer are just ready to shoot at all times. And, you know, they've hit shots. They've had some success. They've had some failures. They're battle tested, man. They're ready for conference play. I'm excited to watch them during conference play. I think they're a team who could fall out of the top 25. I think they're a team who could also jump into the top 10 before the season's over. So you never know. They're a tough team to gauge, in my opinion, in my unprofessional opinion. Number 22, UCLA. They're a really interesting team because they take down Oregon. They lose to UNC, who's been struggling, and that's just, I don't know how to gauge them. They've been good defensively. Their problem is guard. I don't trust their guards, really. I don't trust them to score. I don't trust them to play make. I don't trust them to set up teammates. Like, that's been their problem, the lack of playmaking, not a ton of scoring from the guard spots. So moving on, that's what I want to see more of from them. And you can't lose to North Carolina. I'm sorry, you can't. Even though I think it was kind of was it in Charlotte? I think that game was in Charlotte. I don't know. I'm not sure. No, the Jordan Classic was in Charlotte. Where was that at? It was in Madison Square, I think. I think that was the UCLA-UNC game was in Madison Square. I still, you're traveling so far, but I don't think you can lose that game, in my humble opinion. Number 23, Arkansas. I think they've improved week by week by week. Adu Thiero, Boogie Flan, they've been great scorers. And I think this team feels different than most Coach Cal teams. I think I said that about last year's Kentucky team too, because you had Reed Sheppard, you had Rob Dillingham, that guard duo, and then you had Antonio Reeves. But I like this team. I feel like they're a little older, they're more experienced than what Cal's used to, and I think they have a good chance in March, man. I think they do. You obviously need to see them continue to build success and beat good teams. That's really a thing they haven't done too much of. They beat Michigan, but you'd like to see them beat, another one. But they're going to beat that. They're going to, dude, the SEC is a gauntlet. So we're going to see them play some teams, man. Number 24, Illinois. They've been fun to watch. Kasparas Yakuchonis has been outstanding. I've compared him to like rookie Luka, where he's super quick. My mic just he's super quick. He can dunk. He can step back threes. Just playmaking's off the charts. Great rebounder. He's really fun to watch. They've played in some insanely high-scoring games. They're the opposite of San Diego State. If you want to watch offense, watch Illinois. They've had great contributions from Tomislav Ivicic. He's averaging like a double-double this year. Freshman wing Will Riley. He's been pretty fun to watch. He's been kind of inefficient, but when he's been needed, I mean, he's going to get his shots up, and some of them are going to go in, some of them aren't. So he's been fun to watch. Moving on, number 25. Again, though, Yakuchonis is awesome. Number 25, last team, not really. Number 25, Baylor. They have a lot of older guys. Jeremy Roach. I'm not going to think of his name. I'm not going to just say here, but they've got some older guys. They've played, I think, in my opinion, the toughest schedule in America for a top 25 team. I mean, they've had the toughest schedule on this list, and they've been solid. I mean, they've lost some close games. They've won some close games. So they'll be a fun team to watch in conference play, because I really do think playing those tough teams matters, and Baylor's a team that does it. And obviously they're only ranked number 25, but I think they'll be a team that finishes a lot higher. VJ Edgecombe, I need to see a shot fall here and there, man. That's what I want to see because defensively that dude's outstanding. Just need shots to fall a little better. And now, two teams I want to talk about. My favorite mid-major, which is the Drake Bulldogs, and my favorite team, which is North Carolina Tar Heels. So, my favorite mid-major is where we're starting this thing out. The Drake Bull, and I put Dogs. D-A-W-G-S, Dogs, man. These dudes, 4 D2 guys last season, are starting on this team, and they have been unbelievable. I think they're one of 4 unranked teams left. They're the only one who's not ranked, and they deserve to be top 15, top 20 right now. Ben Steeritz has been, dude, unbelievable. Hit a crazy game winner against K-State and Kansas City. Ben McCollum, probably coach of the year in my opinion. This team's just done it all. They're unbelievable. They're unbelievable. Again, 4 D2 guys coming up playing D1 basketball. It's awesome for them. Awesome to see a mid-major like that, really explode. Even after losing, I'm gonna get his name. West Virginia. He plays for West Virginia. They coach for West Virginia. God, they lost. Anyway, losing their head coach, losing their star player to West Virginia. How do I forget their name? It's 3:45. So I'm gonna wrap this up. My favorite team, North Carolina Tar Heels. They've struggled, and it sucked to watch because I really expected this year we would be a top 10 team, top 5 team. RJ Davis hasn't been the guy you're used to. He struggled to start the season. I expected him to be National Player of the Year. I think he was second last year. I don't know if there's actual voting for like rankings, but I would have said he was second last year, and he struggled. Elliot Cadeau has struggled. Those 2 guards were last year unbelievable. This year they've really struggled. Seth Turnbull's the only reason we're relevant right now. He's the only reason we are half decent. He's made insane plays. He's stepped up defensively when we've needed him. He's been so awesome. And he's made, down the stretches of games, he's been great. We have no bigs. We need someone to step up there. Jalen Washington used to be so ferocious and attack the rim like he wanted to kill people. And now he's just kind of playing scared, so I want to see confidence instilled back in him. I want to see RJ get back to the old RJ. I want to see Elliot Cadeau be the Cadeau of last year, plus the jumper. The jumper's been fine, but that's kind of what I want to see from this UNC team. But that's me talking about college hoops. If y'all enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. This isn't going to be a great video, I don't think, but if it is, and there are a lot of people watching this right now, I don't know what you're doing, but please subscribe and like, and go watch my other videos because they are much better than this. 3:45 in the morning. I love y'all. Thank you for watching. I hope I made one of y'all's day. Yeah, that's all I got. Love y'all. Peace.